Alright, good morning everyone. I am here as promised. Sorry about missing the other days. Do a quick sound check. Alright, good. Hey, everything works. Okay. So, yeah, I wasn't feeling very good on Sunday morning. So took that day off. Before we get too deep into the game, schedule for this week, I'm not currently planning on doing anything this evening into tomorrow night or tomorrow morning because I have today off, and usually I would try to squeeze something in. I still might, but I do have quite a bit of stuff to do. Trying to update my PC a little bit because obviously there were some graphics issues with not just Star Wars Outlaws, but also this game. So I'm going to have to check in on that. There's also some other personal stuff that I have to get into, so we're going to adjust that. I have played around with the graphic settings a little bit. Shouldn't change the game much. And I played just a tiny bit off stream for the sake of cutting out some of the construction. Oops, wrong button. I made some stuff. I'm gonna keep hitting the wrong button. That's just going to be a thing. But yeah, I built a lot of parts off stream. Turns out it saved us like an hour and a half of me just holding a button.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save space and enhance the productivity of your factory. Fixit encourages you to consider investing in verticality when it comes to factory logistics. If you feel stressed by this complexity, imagine yourself on the shore of a vast and calm ocean. Breathe in. Visualize all the people relying on you. The sea is made of billions of faces, each staring at you with hope and tears in their eyes. Breathe out. Feel refreshed and focused on your duties.
Okay, yep, and I'm going to want to be able to build foundations. I'm also going to switch this into the on position because I found out when I was building all the parts that it used like everything that I had ready. So we're basically out of raw iron. Little bit of a problem. But also before I build anything, I want to come this way because okay, there's at least 2 iron nodes. I saw the vertical. Oh, hi, buddy. Come here. Why does that one look different? Oh, that's one of the spinners. So I think, yeah, this corner is where I usually end up building my base. Yeah, so we're actually building it more north of where I usually am. It's that pillar. That's the pillar where I usually build my base. Yeah. Still might end up building it there. Probably will. First, we need to get base building. I should also probably get enough parts enough parts to get everything up and running. We should have built... Build, snap, hologram, sample, quick switch. Fuck. Okay, so we only got the first bit of logistics. We didn't actually get what I thought. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. These are just going to keep chugging along. That's all good. Oh, and the drop pod is coming back. These are relatively cheap. I like that they stack now. I don't think they used to do that. Okay, so base building. Dropping the iron, plates, rods, the sort button so everything fills down. Okay, now we can make foundations. Now we need concrete.
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
Okay. What I was trying to indicate when Ava was going on is now I'm going to go for that Mark II belt. Because the iron output currently is a lot quicker than the belt can handle. Why did I put 2 of the extra mark? Probably did. Like change just the footsteps. Okay, yeah. Let's drop that down to 80. Oh, that's a lot better. That is so much better. And hey, the drop pod's back. This is excellent. I might need to build the reinforced plates. That's like the one thing I might have to do. Yeah, because we don't have all of those. But that's fine. This, no, this button. Reinforced. Just going to chew through the parts that we've got, and I was going to use those for... Hang on. Plates. Yeah, okay. 10, 20, 30. Make sure that's... Okay, so we need 180 plates. It's actually not too much, considering that's iron. That's probably more than enough. And if it is, we'll just throw it back in the thing. Okay. So, while we're waiting for that to cook, what else have I been working on? I did some Elite Dangerous. Finally managed to get back to Shinrar Tedesra right in time for whatever is coming in terms of Aegis moving around, reshuffling, warning of Thargoids attacking the heart of humanity in that game. So, I am there, and I am mostly ready. Still need to construct probably a drop ship to get me onto Thargoid Spire sites, which I have not visited yet. Need one for actually fighting Thargoids in space, and I need to make a Python Mark II Titan bomber. I've also been working on Skull and Bones. Got my main ship up to level 4 upgrade, almost level 5. Should have enough for level 5 upgrade after I harvest Pieces of 8 tonight. I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to go a little bit later than I usually do today, playing Satisfactory, purely because I've got the day off and I can afford to. So this is probably going to be a 2 to 3 hour stream instead of just an hour and a half one. A lot of new stuff coming to Skull and Bones today, but last I checked, they had started updating the game before I got home, or around the time I got home, and half an hour before I started stream, so that's 8 a.m. Eastern time, they'd run into some problem that was causing server instability. So servers were still down. Not the end of the world, but was looking forward to trying out some of the new stuff, and I've been grinding the larger dragon, trying to get Heaven's Mandate cannons, because that's the part that like 1 or 2 of my ship builds are hinging on, and I just haven't found any of them out of that dragon. Like, I've done it 20 times and I haven't gotten one. But one of the patch note things I saw was that drop rates were being increased slightly, so that could be a nice little bonus. What else have I been doing? I want to get into Tarkov more. That's going to be my next thing. Once, with Elite Dangerous cooling off now, and since this week I'm going to finish up the Season Pass in Skull and Bones, and that's going to start taking the back burner, I'm probably going to start doing more in Tarkov. And then, after that, the other thing is that God of War Ragnarok is coming out this weekend, or Thursday-ish. So, sometime around then, I'm definitely getting us started playing God of War Ragnarok. I have played the first God of War game on stream, I think, but that was on my last channel, last time I tried streaming. And again, that channel didn't go anywhere, so those VODs are gone into the wind. That was also way before I decided to try actually recording the VODs. Or preserving them, I should say. So, eventually we'll get back to the first God of War with Atreus. Yeah, you see, this is why I got through a lot of the iron crafting off stream. Because you end up sitting here for quite a while. But we are making about like 400 iron ingots so that we can make enough iron plates and all that. Okay, so we need 30 reinforced at minimum. 30 times... two. No, it was 30 times 6, so that's like 180, I think. I hit the wrong button. I think it's 180 that we're looking for. Even if we're over our amount in this, the reinforced plates will come in handy because we're going to need quite a few. Shit, I didn't pay attention to how many, like... Okay, it does... My brain is short-circuiting a little bit. It's fine now. Everything's fine. Just make that. Now we're going to try to get another 500-ish screws. I think Skull and Bones and Elite Dangers have taken up a lot of my time lately. So yeah, actually being able to do stuff in Tarkov would be nice. Haven't really done anything in World of Tanks. Haven't had time to. Between work and everything else, it's just not happening. Yeah, if we can make 500 screws, we're going to have more than enough. It's kind of a bit of a shame that I can't make larger storage bins right at the beginning of the game. But it makes sense. Larger storage bins would be too easy to split off materials. Hold on. Before we do. Yes, we need 30. Also, I had lowered the graphics settings slightly because I didn't like this white outline down here. And I didn't realize at the time that's just because like I'm selecting the craft bench. I just remembered that white outline was a pet peeve of mine. So I'm going to adjust the graphics settings back up after we're done with this. I'm hitting all of the wrong buttons, but it's fine.
Milestone reached. Fix-It would like to remind you of your contractual obligation towards efficiency. Recreational use of belts and lifts does not count towards work hours and will put you on the list. Stay efficient, don't disappoint. Fix-It.
Options, video. Yeah, I lowered the texture quality. Yeah. It's fine. Does make it where the game's like rippling a little bit though. I was wondering what the black line was. It's just my power cables. I'm going to pull this stuff back out. And we need to make concrete. We're probably also going to need more reinforced plates purely for constructors. But again, that's mostly fine. Actually, here's a thought. Do I have access to splitters yet? Because if I don't, that should be the next research I get. But I think Logistics 1 would have given me those. Logistics, Mark II. Yep, okay, we've got splitter. Whoops. That's going to be 6. I think this was 4. Yeah. I don't particularly like that, but at the same time, that's going to be a splitter. I actually built that pretty even. Yeah, because if you set this for iron, that eats 30 and spits out 30. So 2 of them can take 60. Whoop, that's encroaching on clearances. That's there. There. You feed into that one, and you feed into that one. And it's not perfect, but it's gonna work. And the drop pod's back. Resource sink. Part assembly. Drop into parts. This. And as it turns out, we're a couple of iron plates short. Clearly I didn't build enough for the other thing that we were working on. But that's fine. Because now we have technology. Iron ingot, iron ingot, iron ingot, iron ingot. And of course it blows the fuse. These are just little measly bioreactors after all. Why would they be able to sustain anything? Yeah, we need to get coal power as quickly as possible. Throw some stuff in there. Throw some stuff in there. We didn't actually hook up the thing. Nope, I did. They've been hooked up. Okay. What was that new fear unlocked thing? Yeah, those are working. They're staggering because they're not feeding in properly. So we need reinforced iron plates. Let's get some reinforced iron plates so that we can bump up the smelters first. Because if we can get the smelter running full time, that's all we particularly need. It's going to be feeding perfectly now. Mergers need more iron plates. Which is fine, because now we are just spitting out ingots. So I'm going to put 2 containers over here. Which is probably overcomplicating the system. But it'll be fine. Besides, if we can get 2 containers of just iron ingots, then whenever we need to change something around, we can always just grab the iron ingots out. And it's not going to stay empty, it's going to be like a holding area for all of the other things. That's a redundancy that I ended up wanting to make in some of my other factories, and yet never quite got around to retrofitting in. Copper? Bauxite. Organization. Me up. There's a ladder here. I know there is. Thank you. Alright, now I've got those set up. Production. We need way more constructors. Which means that I need more copper. That's not the one with copper, that's the one with limestone. Although I could grab more limestone, because we will need foundations, as I mentioned. one's trying to generate 120 copper. Ooh, we're actually doing... That's almost full. I like that. That's real good. But we will need to put some smelters on there so that we can start producing wire and cable. Need more iron, right? I really want to get back to the point when I could make anything that I wanted. But that point is like 50 hours into the game, at least. So it's going to take us a while to get there. Produce a bunch of iron rods. Before I build that, how about we drop those?
Milestone reached. The assembler can produce more complex parts, including the first project part, smart plating, which is crucial for initiating project assembly. Project parts must be delivered to the space elevator. By completing your contracted duties as part of project assembly, you will definitely be helping achieve Fix-It Company goals without any other ulterior motive. Note: humans cannot craft project parts. Do not worry about your inadequate crafting skill when compared to an assembler. Fix-It cherishes your innate human abilities, such as walking, striking objects, and commodifying natural resources.
I'm not sure that was a reassuring message. So we're going to make at least 8 of these reinforced plates. Craft a bunch, at least up to the 50 that we need. I'm gonna go to 100 because I need to craft screws anyways to make more reinforced plates. See if we can get 10 more reinforced plates. That's probably going to be only enough for the constructors. which is a little bit of an issue, but we can fix that up easy enough. Okay, we actually do have some supplies for wire and cable. Yeah, see, it's a good thing I spent like an hour and a half just tinking with the iron stuff that we needed for some of these drop pod things. Because we've already been here for the better part of 40 minutes doing basically nothing but tinking. Get a bunch of extra cable. Some extra plates. So the first phase of the factory is not meant to look particularly good. So turn iron ingots into iron plates. So that takes 30. Each of those produces. Okay. So I'll make one more. Attach that. Splitter. Again, not going to look pretty. It just needs to work. Rods 15. That is fine as well because splitter. Yeah, I guess it can be that one. That on the other splitter. We need more iron plates. I think we've still got iron ingots left over. That'll be fine. I don't know why there's an odd shift in the geometry there, but whatever. Craft us back up to 50, give or take. Might actually go until we run out of the material. bio burners if we want to power up this. We're making rods. We're making rods. We're making rods. You're already set to make rods. You two should be good. Nope, you make plates. So we have two making plates. The others are making rods. Now, you might ask yourself, why are you making so many storage containers? Because I have played this game before, and I know how many materials we are actually going to need. Huh. How is that not too steep? That looks better. Okay. Then you got all that, which is fine. How many are these going to make? 15. Okay. Okay. Splitter. How many screws do you make? Take 10 and you produce 40. Found the right angles. Ugh. Yeah, when I get down to building like an actual factory, I'm going to try working more for actual organization. Right now it's just get the basic parts. In fact, once I get everything over here up and running, I may start jumping over to where I said I usually build my factory. That other spire, or that other little rocky outcrop, and I might start planning on how many smart plate I intend to build. Reverse engineer things from there. Because that's how I usually do it. Once I know the ratios for how many parts I need, I end up making some giant flow chart of, oh, I need this many things, I need this many things. And it just kind of trickles backwards. Yep, and I want to build that like that, so that then I can put that on. And I do those. So that produces 120 screws, which is one tier 2 belt's worth of screws. Bit because I am not a fan of stuff dipping in the dirt. This is going to be our screw container. Should be able to let those run for now. That'll be fine. Meanwhile, I'm going to take a trip this way. Iron ore, not particularly valuable. First off, I want to kill that spitter, because that's research for the NAM, and I can use that. Hiya, bud. How's it going? Ooh, blue plasma.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. Their weaponized plasma is most likely stored as a stable chemical substance in an organ close to their mouth, and only turns volatile when exposed to one of the chemical elements in the air. Research the remains in the MAM to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
Yeah, this is definitely where I usually build my factory. So we're just going to go this way a little bit and start chopping up, I guess, grass. Grass is good enough. Oh, hey, look, it's another fluff tail. Oh. Fluffy boy over there.
The fruit of this fungus-like flora does not seem to show much potential for use. However, its mycelial network is worth further investigation. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Getting all this stuff is because eventually I will need a bunch of bioreactors. Come here, bud. Hey, he wanted to chase me. You saw it. I think it is.
Unknown metal collected. This metallic element is showing properties similar to those in Group 11 on the periodic table, such as high conductivity and malleability. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Caterium! Another thing, I gotta build all the parts for biomass burners. Okay. Can't do hatchers, can't do stingers, can do this.
The remains researched belong to an organism that tends to nest near objects emitting specific types of resonance. Spitters are called as such due to their ability to create and spit plasma across long distances. Spitter remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration.
Okay, the change there had me a little bit confused.
Research completed. Alien protein can now be turned into biomass or alien DNA capsules. In addition to being used for research, the invaluable alien lifeform data in these capsules can be traded for fix-it coupons at the Awesome Sync. We guarantee the best capsule to coupon exchange rate anywhere on this planet.
Okay. Before we do any of that, let's start poking Caterium. We need more ore.
The metal has been named Caterium after Fixit's greatest CEO Katerina Parks. It has been added as a viable alternative to gold in industrial applications, specifically in advanced electronics due to its superconductivity, malleability, and corrosion resistance.
Let's poke this now.
The mycelial networks of these fungi possess unusually resilient hyphae, which show potential for making a strong but lightweight natural fabric. Additionally, it has similar medicinal and pest control applications to mycelia on Earth.
I don't have either of those, and that's locked for now. Quartz we can't really mess around with anymore. Yeah, I really want the Blade Runners. The Blade Runners help out a lot. Yeah, and sulfur we can't mess around with. Okay, so we've done everything that we can mess around with. Let's just sort my inventory. I'll throw the mycelia in there, the alien organs, sulfur quartz, limestone, bauxite, the extra caterium. A bunch of copper ore that I can play around with. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? Right, I need iron rods so that I can make more biomass burners. Yeah, and I don't have nearly enough parts for the resource sink. These are stacking up on parts, which is good. That's what I want to be happening, more or less. Keep building. We have part. Didn't something require specifically? Yeah, and then you can get the rebar god. The rebar gun is fun. What does it take to make that capsule? Oh, just alien DNA into the DNA capsule. My neck. Even so, that would require killing a bunch of aliens. And I do not currently have the bits and bobs needed for that. I want to see if that's enough. But first I need to start turning all of my supplies into solid biofuel. On that note, actually, I hit the wrong button again. That actually scared me a little bit this time. Let's pick up that, because I remember in the mycelia it was this and biofuel to make fabric.
Research completed. Fabric recipe unlocked. New mycelia research available.
Okay, so we can put that back now. Yeah, we're going to need way more material. I mean, truth be told, we're not that far off right now. And we didn't do that much actual harvesting beforehand, so we're not in the worst place. But yeah, getting biomass in the desert is not particularly effective. Which is why I would like to reach coal as quickly as possible. Then we can go over to the water fountain over there and go over to the water fountain and start actually building. Because once you get a coal power plant up and running, your factory's power needs are pretty much met until you hit something like nuclear. And then I don't want to build, or I don't want to start cutting away too close. I'll clear the area around some of these nodes. Heal this nature. Satisfactory is getting a little bit cheeky. just clear out the area around some of these nodes so that I can see them a little bit better. Ooh, we got another spitter. Mine. Oh yeah, look, power slug. Hey, one of the birds. They're fun. Mercer sphere? Not yet. I don't know fully what goes on with Mercer spheres, but I know they're like the new important thing. In the beta, they didn't have a purpose, or in early access, they didn't have a purpose. So now I am curious as to what their full potential is. God, I want Blade Runners again. I miss having them. I mean, I suppose I could just, like, try to hunt down a Caterium node and, like, speedrun grabbing them. But I don't want to work, like, that hard into it. I don't want to feel like I'm trying to speedrun it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to turn the mycelia into biomass just yet, because there's other research in the MAM that I can do that involves mycelia. but I will use everything else. Just keep building, just keep building. Do, 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 do. Yeah, this is one of the more laborious bits of the game. Just waiting on parts. Later on in the game it gets a lot better when you're waiting on parts because you can run around and explore and try to hunt down new things to exploit and all that. New resource nodes to exploit. Early game, yeah, you're just trying to get all your machines up and running without blowing a fuse. And the work has wiped me out. Just making a bunch of biofuel, working on funding the generators. That way I can start producing smart plate eventually. Jennifer Stone, thank you for the follow. How's it going? Hope you're having a good day. There's a tiny bit of a delay, so if I don't immediately respond to any messages, it's not you. I'm doing alright. A little bit sore after a long night at work, but, you know, day jobs, they'll get you eventually. Trying to squeeze in as much Satisfactory as I can before I pass out. How many stacks of biofuel do I have right now? Is that it? 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 full stacks of biofuel. I mean, that'll fund the other ones. Get a little bit more so that I have enough for my chainsaw. Okay, let's go blow a fuse. Maybe, if I've got enough parts. I might not have enough parts. I need more cable. That one spot is gonna get me every time. Get a little bit more copper ingots. Not sure off the top of my head if wire is needed for the power poles. So I'm just going to make a good amount of stuff. Copper ingots is another thing I need to fully automate. But very early stage of the game, haven't quite gotten there yet. What do you mean, what's the basic in this game? Do you mean what's the basic idea? Because the basic idea is you're dropped on a planet and your entire mission is to find and exploit resources so that you can assist with... I am a variety gamer. I play basically whatever I want, whenever I want. One of the things I've played is World of Tanks. I have recently finished a GTA 5 campaign, which I still need to put up on YouTube, which I may end up working on today because projects and time management is not my strong suit. I've done Skull and Bones, I've done Sea of Thieves, I've done a little bit of Tarkov. I play everything. Okay, so that should be enough bits and pieces to at least get started. This is going to be one of my more progressive type games, where it's just, if I have time to kill and there's nothing particular going on, I'll end up playing this. This is one of my favorite games as far as just relaxing and building stuff goes. Problem, of course, being this is the very early stage of it, so I have not yet built nearly enough. And there's the fuse. Yep, I am a variety streamer. Ideally, I want to make streaming one of my more full-time gigs. But in order to make it a full-time gig, I've got to build up fan bases, well, followings at least. So, gotta work to get there. That power pole, this, that one, and then I like redundancy, and we do need wire. God damn it. Yeah, so I'm also a little bit short on my attention span just because this is in the United States where I live. This is like mid-morning. It is almost 10 a.m. But I work nights. So for me, this is the equivalent of being like 10 p.m. Is this a PC game only? I think it's also on console. I don't quite remember. I want to say it is. I could entirely be wrong. I thought at one point I saw something about it having console versions, but I very likely could be wrong on that. But this is the PC version of the game that I am playing. the game world is absolutely massive. There are 4 different starting points with 4 different quote-unquote difficulties. It's all the same world, though. The map does not randomly generate. It's the same every time. The one that I'm on right now is the desert area. Just pure desert. And this is one of the harder starts. The reason why it's a hard start is not due to, like, resource scarcity or anything. The reason is purely based on biomass. So, early stage in the game, biomass is your main form of power generation. So you have to take your chainsaw here and cut down trees and grass and stuff. Or you can gather grasses, at least, by hand. And eventually you turn that grass and wood material into biomass. Biomass can be turned into solid biofuel, and both of those can be fed into the power. These have a conveyor intake now. That's new. That's new. I need to remember that. That's a huge thing. Okay. That just rearranged a couple of priorities. Possibly, maybe, probably not. Where was I? I built that, I did the thing. Right, I was going to build another power pole because we didn't fully hook this up. Some of the easier starts... no, I did not use face cam. Currently, I do not have any sort of webcam hooked up to this computer, so I actually can't have a face cam. And then even if I wanted to, all of the USB ports and stuff on this PC are occupied with various peripherals. I've got a flight control system for when I play Elite Dangerous, which is a space flight sim. I've got a special keyboard, an Azeron keyboard, which I use for when I play Tarkov. I've got my regular keyboard, my mouse, my headset, my microphone, my monitors. It is a rat's nest of cables under here. Fun stuff, though. What was I doing? Right, power! How much does this produce? This produces 30. How much does that produce? I want to see if I can get away with powering on just one. 20! Ooh. Okay, so I'll put power in there. I'll put some power in there. Yes, I do know about VTubing. I have considered that as an option. I am interested in that. Problem being money. You need money to get a model and everything else. Hey, it works. So if I ever build up enough cash to the point where I can afford even a PNG model, that's something I'm going to end up doing. But until then, I am kind of stuck in a situation where I have to wait for income to be able to do more things. And my first priority is upgrading my PC, because this computer is several years old. It is seriously struggling to play certain games, as I saw when I tried booting up Star Wars Outlaws a little while ago. When that came out, I tried booting it up. Day 1 or 2 of that coming out. I don't have a very solid idea yet as far as having a 2D model. I'm kind of leaving that up in the air. I'm trying to take things up one at a time. I have enough trouble keeping my priorities straight as is. So last week and the week before and everything before that, I was streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays regularly at around 8:30 a.m. and then I would do streams on my days off. In the name of catching up on stuff that I have fallen behind on, I am now just streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays regularly. I need to take my days off and get some shit done. So until I get caught up on my other stuff, my real life stuff, I need to get that handled. Once I get that handled, I can go back to streaming as much as I want, whenever I want. Priorities. But yeah, upgrading my PC is my first thing, and I almost have enough money for that. On the other hand, I also almost... that amount of money is almost the same as I need to pay off one of my bigger loans. So probably pay off the bigger loan first, then get a PC upgrade. Which means that we're going to be just bare bonesing it for a while. That's copper. I might need more copper. I mean, my computer's... when I had this PC built, it was a fairly mid-tier rig. So it's not the worst. It's still pretty decent. It'll get the job done. But, yeah, Star Wars Outlaws we had some serious trouble with. When I fired up Satisfactory, which is now in 1.0, it was in early access before. Early access ran no problem. 1.0, we had some visual errors. Oh god, we had some visual errors. That was a whole process of why is it a full mesh of polka dots? Why do I need to upgrade my drivers? Stuff needs to be upgraded, which is one of the things I'm taking care of today. I'm going to try to sort through my drivers and other programs on this PC and upgrade some stuff. I need concrete for the resource sink. I also need concrete for a platform for the space elevator. Because I haven't built that yet. Early game in Satisfactory is building a bunch of miners, building a bunch of biomass generators, and hoping that your power lasts long enough that you can get shit done before your fuses start blowing. Right now I've got everything in iron up to iron screws being mass produced. That's what I just turned on and was looking at a little while ago. So next project is probably going to be concrete. As much as I would like to automate copper, copper requires foundries and smelters, and I'm going to need less copper in the long run than I am concrete. I should not have looked at that. That is a problem. Put stuff in here so that I don't... I'll throw the biomass in there for now. That'll be fine. What was I just thinking? I had a thought. I had a thought and I lost it! plenty of copper ore. I don't need any more copper ore. I need limestone. Ooh, quartz. Only 12. God damn it. See if that's enough. So, the resource sink we don't particularly need. What I'm thinking is that I'll make a bunch of concrete. Work on putting out the pad for the space elevator. And then I'll check what I need in order to produce smart plating. Foundations. Oh, hi, buddy. Thought I was going to jump over. Apparently that didn't work. Woo! That worked. Mine. Oh, hey, look, more copper. Where would I be able to build the pad without being horribly in the way? Around here-ish? Toggle lock. Okay, that's new. Kinda like that, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so the space elevator will fit on this pad. That is good to know. Actually, we should have... Yeah! Getting iron plates now. I should probably build... Yeah, we should build more wire. Not wire. More reinforced iron plates. Because, for the moment, we actually have... Yeah. So let's go try to build like 500 screws. Wait, why am I? I'm dumb. I have things automated for this. Why am I? I blame being tired. Okay, I blame being tired for this. Up into here. I'm gonna grab another stack of rods. Yeah, and then we got a full stack of, yeah, and then that's technically flowing twice as fast as that needs, because I had stuff that's being saved. This is all fine. We do need reinforced plates. Those we still have to make by hand. I'm gonna work on making 20. First order of business. Mass producing concrete. Now. as you've seen, every other part has one storage container. Concrete's going to have 3. We are going to need metric ass loads of concrete. That was weird. Oh, this is copper. Well, that's fine. We're going to have to do that eventually anyways. We just won't power those up yet. That's fine. It's fine. And we need cable. Of course we do. Because I spent some where I probably shouldn't have. I'm gonna make, I think, 50 of these just to make sure I've got a fair amount. I know I said this was going to be a longer stream, and I'm glad that I've gone 20 minutes over when I usually go. I'm not sure this is going to go that much longer, but I've been up since 6 p.m. So that's 12. Yeah, 16 hours. Oh, I really want to go to sleep. Pump up some wire. Bring it down to 100 and yep, that works. The blade runners make you jump so much higher. First thing I want to do is I want to see what the outtake here is. 120. Okay, so we do need to upgrade that belt. Huh. You know what? Never mind. That's going to have to go on hold. Okay, build all that. Set it to concrete. Intake's 45, so we're going to have a total intake of like 135, which is not particularly ideal, but it'll get more than the job done. It'll be fine. And then I'm going to put a merger there, so we don't have to do any fancy footwork with the storage containers. We're a couple short. Which it wouldn't have been if I had properly done the other thing. That way. That way. All right. Set that to concrete. That to concrete. And now we prepare to blow another fuse. Or not. Ho 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 ho. Very lucky we're not at maximum consumption. Okay, so goes into the top one, feeds into that one. Oh, I need one more conveyor lift. Feeds into the bottom. Bottom fills up first, then the middle, then the top. And that isn't even the bare minimum of concrete that we're going to need. That is just going to like scratch the surface. That's like the itch on the tip of your nose. That was doing something weird. Like, when the model loaded in. That was doing something weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, but I at least want to grab a stack of plates, a stack of rods, so that I can take those and throw them into the thing, so that I can say I've got enough bits and bobs for the resource sink program. Grab some barrel nuts, because why not? That in, that in, that. How many alien bio thingies do I have? Just that's 3, so that's actually 4. So just to get it off my list and out of my inventory, I'm going to go over to where I usually construct my base, and I'm going to put down some miners. So that then I have a much clearer visual indicator of where my standard factory normally is. And usually the idea in this game is to build like one mega factory. I don't know if I'm going to build it here or if I'm going to build it elsewhere. There was a place. It's where I last had a factory. Ooh, he's number 5. I need him. Hi, buddy. Sorry, I need your guts. Thank you. There was a place that I liked in my last playthrough. Kind of. At least in the sense of it looked pretty. Not in the sense of it actually like worked for me. Because, oh my god, that place was a nightmare to try and organize. And there's a worm under here somewhere. What are we scanning for? Yeah, I meant iron. 100, 200. Oh, it's right here. I'm blind. See, this is why I need visual aids. Put this facing this way. You've been playing for 2 hours. Exhaustion is not covered by the Fix-It Pioneer Health Plan, nor is Pioneer Health. No, I can test this on the next one. Okay, yeah, you got those. There should be copper around here, right? Yeah. 2 coppers. I'm gonna bust this. And do had thought that attempting to lock it to the world grid would do something else, but apparently it does not. Over here. And then I'll look for some limestone in this area. There we go. Not the button I meant to press. Yep, and then those feed all around towards that direction, which is good. That's where I want them to go. And now we have to go back to where we left our copper production. Assembler. I need to make rotors by hand. Need to make rotors by hand until I can make them in a machine, which I probably can right now. It's just a matter of wiring the parts. Well, something just happened. Putting in these probably caused that to kick up, which probably was enough to get everything a little bit fucked. How much do these take? These each take 30. Okay, that's gonna be a problem. slip in another splitter here? That in. Okay, all that is set up. He looks bigger than normal. Okay, so it outputs 30. So if I take... Oh, Christ. We have an uptick. On the one hand, that's great. On the other hand, a little bit of a problem. Didn't I need... That's already a mark 2. That's good. Was it because we ran out of heat? No, we still have heat. There's definitely a break in the power line. Okay, so let's pull this stuff. And we are going to need a lot of solid bio. Now, the fun bit is that eventually, if I get enough parts to the point where I can get the space elevator done and start working on smart plating as a product, that I only need to power the most important pieces of. And because I'm making all these containers that are going to hold vast amounts of the construction bits, that should not be too much of an issue. I should just be able to, like, take the contents from one container, dump them into another, and Bob's your uncle. Problem is being able to actually construct the space elevator, because that thing is absolutely massive and it is a problem. I think I'm gonna end up calling it here, guys. Actually, before I do, we can do one little thing. One little thing that shouldn't cost us too much time. Take these. Actually, spitter proteins. Alien DNA. And then go over to the MAM. Hell yeah.
Research to develop the rebar gun is now available. When completed, you will be in possession of a tool effective against any local obstacles actively objecting to the Fix-It mission.
You know, I was expecting something a bit more on point than that, I guess. Not that I'm particularly complaining, but I was expecting something a bit more. But I'm going to call it here. And yes, the name of our world is Babylon. So I might go off stream and finish up that copper processing section. It's not going to be fully done. I'm just going to make enough to the point where I can make a little bit of wire and a little bit of cable, and that's probably going to be all that I do. And then I'm probably just going to, at some point, although I don't think I'm going to have much time between now and Thursday morning, at some point I might just let the game run in the background if I'm trying to catch up on YouTube videos and stuff. Because if I let the game run and I've got power to my buildings, they'll just keep producing materials. So if I can build up a little bit of backstock in terms of concrete, iron stuff, we need a fuck ton in order to make the space elevator. And when that thing comes down, it is a show. So, yes, my next stream will be Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. At least that is my next stream for sure. Depending how much I get done and how I feel this coming night, I may end up streaming Sea of Thieves or Tarkov or Skull and Bones. Plans are up in the air. I am not committing to anything, but it is a possibility. If I do decide to go live, I may or may not post about it on Twitter. But I do post my schedule there usually. I'm trying to be good about it. I don't think I posted one for this week. I might have. I probably did when I got my schedule last week. Yes, currently the only other solid planned stream for this week is going to be Thursday morning at 8:30. So if I don't see you guys later tonight into tomorrow morning, I will see you then. So take care, stay safe. It's a crazy world we live in. Just take care of yourselves. I'll catch you guys later. Ciao.